Time to check in on the Raiders. Tough loss to the Rams last week. Defense was shaky, offense was shaky, and that pretty much sums it up. Derek Carr had 3 picks, many wondering why he didn't get the ball to Amari Cooper more. Cooper finished with just 1 catch for 9 yards. Well, apparently Gruden was wondering the same thing.
We had more first downs in the second half, had more time of possession. Perhaps we would have seen more of Cooper, but you look at the film, we had him open, wide open, deep. We didn't go there. He was open a couple times, and for whatever reason, we didn't go that route. But, yeah, we want to get him going, and that's easier said than done now.
Huh. That's interesting. What'd you make of what Gruden said?
Oh, we had him wide open deep a couple times. For whatever reason, we didn't go there. Watch this story, America. I know John Gruden said Derek Carr is the most talented quarterback he's ever had, but everything they've done this offseason that seems so confusing starts to make a lot more sense if you look at it from the perspective of Gruden doesn't think they have their quarterback. If you operate from the perspective of Gruden thinks the reason we're in full rebuild, the reason we need extra first-round picks is because we're going to be in the quarterback drafting business soon, then all of a sudden his year doesn't seem so crazy. Then all of a sudden the moves he's made doesn't seem so bizarre. And him, for no reason, publicly taking a shot at Derek Carr right there when he didn't
believe he took a shot at him?
Yes. Yeah, I think when you say for whatever reason we didn't go to him, the only reason you wouldn't go to him is because the quarterback chose not to. Do you read that a different way?
No, you're reading it right. I was just trying to make sure you put a little extra emphasis on it.
Okay, yes.
Because there's a couple reasons why a coach talks about a wide receiver. The thing, I've had this said about me. There were games I didn't have big games. They'd ask Dennis Green, well, what happened? And if Dennis is trying to protect me, he's going to say Chris was open a few times. We just couldn't get in the ball. We couldn't generate enough offense, didn't get enough first downs. That's the typical coach speak, what they do. But if he would have said Brian Billick more so, because he's calling the plays, I had him open. That means I called the right play to get the guy open. I wanted to be open. But the guy pulling the trigger didn't see it that way. I don't know why we didn't get it to him. The only reason why we couldn't get it to either, he can say we had pressure, so that would be the offensive line's fault, or he could say the guy that's pulling the trigger, he didn't throw it to the place I told him to throw the ball to. John don't have to do this, especially with his 10 years in the media. All right? We can't use that as an excuse that we don't know the messaging point. All right? You try to take care of all your players, and people don't like Belichick, but the reason why he does that is he never says anything negative about any of his players. That's the agreement that the coaches have with the players. I'm never going to talk bad to you in the media. You know how I'm going to talk bad to you? I'm going to come into your office, I'm going to sit down with you, and I'm going to tell you.
Or in the film room. Yeah, we all see it.
That's the office.
Yep, exactly right.
You're not going to do it in a press conference. So John is missing out on some of the things that he knows as a head coach, and he definitely knows from a media standpoint that this is not the right way to go.
Or he's not missing out on it at all. And he knows the power of the media, and he knows the ability to script a narrative.
He's definitely trying to use the media with the Khalil Mack.
Absolutely.
Saying the player don't want to be here.
And if I was a man on an island this offseason saying, I don't think Derek Carr's that good. And if Gruden is trying to shift the discussion to maybe Derek Carr isn't that good. And by the way, people watching that don't know his contract situation, yeah, he signed that huge deal. Man, after this year, they can get out of that deal for $7 million cap hit. $7 million after this year.
Wow.
The year after that,
I didn't know
$5.
that.
Right. Most people didn't because you heard 5 years, 125, $40 million guaranteed at signing. All that guaranteed money except for $7 million paid out before the end of this season. So I'm just saying, why would you trade away Khalil Mack? Why would you make the moves you've made? Why would you not look at the 2016 season and say, we can get back to that? Well, if you're focused on 2020, when you've got a 10-year contract so you can focus on whenever you want, that's when you move to a new stadium. If you think we're going to be on a new quarterback by then and I need extra draft picks to make sure we can get the quarterback I want, then all of a sudden it starts snapping into focus. And then when you look at his history, who's Gruden won with? Oh, he's won with Rich Gannon. He's won with Brad Johnson. Who has he never won with? A young quarterback. So there's a lot of things here that make more sense if you operate from the perspective of he's not as high on Derek Carr as we think.
And also, people think John Gruden is something else, all right? Because what they've seen from John Gruden is John Gruden, the announcer. So what they've also seen is John Gruden with the quarterback series. People give John Gruden credit for a lot of quarterback play. Besides Rich Gannon, y'all tell me someone he improved. You tell me someone where their offense lit it up. John Gruden has always had quarterback issues except the year that he was with Rich Gannon. And also he had 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers.
He had Tim Brown and Jerry Rice Rice at that point was still amazing. People forget that Jerry Rice as a Raider it wasn't always the cornrows started the back of his head, Jerry. It was.
Jerry had a spectacular year that year with John Gruden. So this quarterback guru thing, don't know if that's all accurate, and I believe there could be something as far as in 2020, I can get a guy, and when I go to Vegas, it will be the guy that I pick compared to the guy I inherited.
You know, Gruden said a lot when he signed this deal, this 10-year, $100 million deal. And one of the things I think we all remember was how much love he threw towards Derek Carr. This is one of the reasons I'm coming back into the game. This is the talent that I want to build the next coming of my career around. You know, this is the guy that's going to take us and turn us into a winning organization. I mean, there was a lot that he put into Derek Carr, and you wonder now whether that was all part of.
Well, no. I don't think it was premeditated. I think that he was watching the game as an announcer, as a guy that has the Raiders a couple times a year, as a guy that saw the Derek Carr in year 3 almost won league MVP, and a guy that also thought maybe more highly of him than he did once he had an offseason with him.
He fell in love with his arm. That's what he did. Now it's the quarterback I'm dealing with, and maybe I'm not going to overreact. But it's only one game. Maybe I'm not in love with the quarterback. Does Carr have a special arm? Yes. But it's still to be determined what kind of quarterback he's going to be. He had one great year. So is he going to be a great football player, or is he going to be a guy who played football, who had the great talent, the great attributes of a very, very strong arm?